Morning, students. Just give me about 2 minutes. We'll see if anyone else comes. Then we'll start our classes. Okay. Arrest. Okay. So let us start with the second part of third unit. That is schema refinement. Okay. And uh, before that, I wanted to say you that this particular third unit, this particular second part is the most important of all, because I've gone through few previous questions. They are maximum asking the definition of schema refinement, okay, or definition of schema refinement, or they are asking basically what is functional dependencies, okay, uh, or they are asking nothing but what do you say, closure set of functional dependencies. After that, they are asking properties of decomposition, or what is lossless joint decomposition, what is dependency preserving decomposition, then normalization, normal forms or normalization, what you take it as. Okay, so these so till now whatever previous question papers I've gone through, I have 67, let it be EC or let it be CSE, maximum from this unit you'll maximum get these questions compulsory. Okay, if it is normal forms, they're asking either about 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, maximum they're asking about 3NF, BCNF, 4NF, 5NF. Okay, so they won't give you direct question. Okay, suppose let me say they're asking you to explain about multi-value dependency. That is nothing but whenever you say multi-value dependency, it is nothing but they're speaking about 4NF. Okay, and next if they say yes, single value dependency, okay, that is nothing but 1NF. Okay, so they are asking you maximum, they are asking you all the normal forms. Okay, I've seen many 3NF, BCNF, 4NF, 5NF, or they might ask you difference between them. Okay, maximum they'll ask you with respect to normal forms, but few papers have asked difference between them, and few papers have given you a question through which you have to take out this closure of particular relationship. Okay, or they have given a question like this and they're asking you to find the closure. Okay, and after that they have even asked what is the definition of schema refinement, okay, and the properties of decomposition. Okay, so in this second part of third unit is the most important. In that unit you'll be maximum asked these all questions. Okay, all of them you'll be asked. Okay, so from each topic, I'll explain you one example. Okay, so first is what is schema refinement. Okay, a basic question. You'll get these questions for 2 marks. Okay, and also for the 10 marks. Okay, if they ask you for 2 or 3 marks, based on that you have to write. If they ask you some theory. Okay, now basic definition of schema refinement. What is schema refinement? It is basically a process of analyzing the given relation schema and the problems with that relation schema. Okay, now schema refinement is basically nothing but we analyze the particular table, or we say it as relation. Okay, from second unit we have known that table is nothing but a relation. Okay, so we analyze the given relation or a table. Okay, and what are the problems with that particular relation? That is nothing but how can we minimize the redundancy. Okay, now what are the basic problems for redundancy? Is nothing but basic problems with redundancy is insertion anomaly, updation anomaly, and deletion anomaly. These I have said in the labs also. So what is insertion anomaly? Okay, I'm sorry it's a bit blur, so, but let us see. Okay, now suppose you have an example here where you have employee number, name, rating, and salary. Okay, and first insertion anomaly. Suppose you want to insert some data. Okay, suppose I'm inserting some data and I'm inserting more than one value for a particular column. Okay, I'm inserting more than one value for a particular column, then it violates the policy. Okay, that is nothing but called as insertion anomaly. Insertion anomaly is what? Basically inserting only one value for a particular record or for a particular column. Now what do you mean by updation? Updation is nothing but basically we see, suppose I want to update. Okay, I want to update the salary. Okay, where suppose this starting 2 or 1 1, let us take 1 1 for now. Both are the same employees. Okay, and both are having a same name, and they have different rating for different departments and salary. Okay, now suppose I want to update the salary from 90,000 to 95,000. So what happens? It will update only one record normally. So what happens here is, since they have taken the entry twice, they will update 2 records. Okay, they'll update 2 records to 95,000. But what happened? But actually what they should do, since employee is only one, they should update salary only once, but it is updating twice. That is not, that is called as updation anomaly. Okay, and deletion anomaly is nothing but, suppose you're trying to delete you're trying to delete a particular set of row. Okay, now this deletion basically affects the other rows also. Now suppose each department has some rating. Okay, each department is having some rating, or each department is having some set of salaries. Okay, suppose if he's in HR, he will be having 90. If he's in technical, he will be having 60. Okay, now suppose I delete these 2 rows. Okay, 3 and 4, I delete these 2 rows. Okay, because that is the set salary for every employee for that department. Okay, let us assume that suppose it is technical, so it is 60,000. Now if I delete row 3 and 4, okay, I've deleted the row 3 and 4 where rating is 5. Okay, now this 60,000 is fixed for that particular department employees. Now if I delete the both particular rows, so what happens? Now some data related information to that particular department, technical department, that salary needed to be 60,000 also gets deleted. That is called as deletion anomaly. Okay, so next let us go to, okay, next we'll see what is functional dependency. Okay, now any dependency, suppose you had a dependency where, go back. Here we have a dependency where arrow from rating is going to salary. Okay. Now, based if you are getting more salary, that means your rating is more basically. So by default, your rating is dependent upon salary. Okay. Now, what happens if you have if your rating is depending upon salary? Then what does functional dependency says is rating determines salary, or rating is determining salary, or rating goes to salary. Okay. Or rating is dependent upon salary, or if suppose if the rating is 5, then it is 9,000. If the rating is 2, then it is 60,000. That is fixed. Okay. So rating determines salary. That is nothing but your salary is dependent. It is dependent on rating. Okay. Salary is dependent upon that rating column. Okay. Now, then what is functional dependency? Okay. It is a kind of integrity constraint that generalizes the concept of a key. Okay. It generalizes the concept of a key where X determines Y or X goes to Y. Says that if two tuples agree on the value in an attribute X, they must also agree on the value of values in attribute Y. Let me take an example and show you. Suppose the example is X uniquely determines Y. Okay. An example where X uniquely determines Y. Now, if I say X determines Y, then the values in them, suppose they have given us these many values, which one satisfy, we'll check it. They said this condition is that X uniquely determines Y. So if X1 determines Y1, yes, it is true. X1 determines Y1, same as above. X3 determines Y3, yes. Again X3 determines, it already determines. Now, X4 determines Y1. X4 determines Y1, yes. X2 determines Y3, yes. But X1, since it has determined Y1, can it determine anything else? No. Here basically whenever you say X uniquely determines Y, okay. Now that means if X has determined Y, then it cannot determine any other column in Y. Basically, whenever we say X uniquely determines, or let me say in general sense, if X1 particular X1 value, okay, if it goes to Y1, then that particular X1 cannot go to Y2, Y3 or Y4. Okay, that is the condition here. Okay, now next one more condition, let us check. Distinct X goes to Y. Okay, distinct X goes to Y. That is nothing but X1 goes to Y1, X2 goes to Y3, X3 goes to Y5, X4 goes to Y1. Okay, but they should not be same. They are different. That's it. Distinct means unique. Okay, next the classification of FDs, functional dependency. Okay, these you all can go through since these are only properties. You have trivial, non-trivial FD, inference rules, reflexivity. You have transitivity, union, decomposition. This you all already know. We'll go to closure for now, since this is important. Repeated question. Okay. Now find the closure of a functional dependencies or FDs. Okay. So you will be given. So here you will be given a relation, and for that relation you will be given functional dependencies, and you need to find the closure. Okay, that is denoted as F and plus on the top, super suffix, what you say it is. Okay, now uh, what is basically a closure is nothing but, suppose you have given a set of functional dependencies, okay, implied by a given set of F of functional dependencies called closure, and is denoted by F plus. Okay, so basically let us see what is the example for finding a closure. Now you have a relation R, that is ABC. Okay, you have a relation R. Okay, you have a relation R that is ABC. Okay, and they have given you functional dependencies. And they have given functional dependencies. A goes to B, B goes to C. Now, how do you find the closure F plus for them? Okay, that is nothing but whenever you say F plus closure. Okay, okay, let me come here. We'll see this one. Okay, now whenever we say we need to find closure, then how we do it? Basically, we take, okay, we take each and every element here first. Okay, we take the each and every element and start finding, okay, where they go. Okay, let me give you an example for one, then you can do the others. Okay, now you have a relation A B C D E F. Okay, and you have functional dependencies. AB goes to C, BC goes to AD, D goes to E, CE goes to B. Okay, so I'll first find out the closure of AB. Okay, since this is the first element, I'm just finding AB closure. So if I find AB closure, okay, so what is the reflexivity property? For AB, you will get again back AB. Then after that, AB goes to C, then I have written C. After that, this BC, you have BC here. So we can go for this BC. BC goes to AD. Okay, that I'll write. Since A is already there, I'll write D. Now anything more you can go? Yes, you have D here. Okay, so D goes to E. So next is D goes to E. Okay, I've written. After that, you have CE here. You have CE for this. Yes, you have CE. So CE goes to D. That is already there available. Okay, that is nothing but if you're finding closure of A plus B, you are getting all the elements. And sorry, there is no F here because they have not given in functional dependency any F. So no F. Okay, now same thing we'll find for BC, D and CE. Okay, closure of everything. Now if I take BC, BC goes to itself. First it should find itself, BC. So we have written BC. Next BC goes to AD. Okay, A, B, A, B, D, C. After that D goes to E. Okay, so by default you are getting all the relations available. Okay, next closure of D. Okay, closure of D is DE. That's it, nothing more. So it is not getting all the closures. Okay, now if I'm finding closure of CE, okay, so first I'll write CE. Okay, after that B. Okay, now you have CB. You have CB here. Okay, so BC will go to AD. Let it be CB or BC, both are same. So BC goes to